All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to Driver Interviews with Bobby Fazio. Today is Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. It is a nasty, ugly Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. Here in New Jersey, it's been raining for 3 days straight. You like that nice professional intro I did, right? Only to follow it up with the kitchen behind me. Yeah, I can't even get to my regular podcast location where I have a semi nice background going there. I'm trying to touch it up. I've been told it's getting a little better each time. I'm flooded in here. I can't even drive off of this little island. So can't get there. You're gonna have to deal with the kitchen in the background. But I know the real listeners or watchers, they don't care, right? All you guys care about is the content, and I think we got lots of it today. Okay, we got a lot to talk about today. So James, all right, yeah. James wanted to get this thing started 10 minutes ago. I know it. James Williamson. Now, James Haddad, if I'm saying that right, by the way, James, JR. He's ready to go right now. So good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning to you. Walt Walker. Hello, sir. Walt, I want to find a way for you to call in or patch in if you want. I know you're probably on the road working. And there's James Williamson again, Cooter Williamson. Cooter is a big name down there. We just had a Cooter win the national event at St. Louis this past weekend. So, there he is, Tommy Baker. Let's go. All right, let's get to it. First of all, everybody, you know the deal here. This is Driver Interviews with Bobby Fazio, and you can go to driverinterviews.com. Check it out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you could. Hit that annoying red button. Hit that annoying like button. All that stuff helps me get more content out there, and that's what I want to do. I'm doing this because I love it. I'm obviously not doing it because I'm making any money at it. This is something that I'm clearly obsessed with. Stock and super stock drag racing. I mean, this is called driver interviews, but most of my driver interviews are stock and super stock racers because I do think they are the best categories in drag racing, the best kept secret in drag racing. Let's be honest here, okay? Wheelies, muscle cars. That's what people want to see. Classic cars, car show, steel body, factory blocks, cranks, heads, valve sizes, cam lift, stock eliminator. Guys, that's what it is for anybody that's just joining for the first time. A lot of people have been emailing me. They want to learn more about stock. So for my regular listeners and watchers, I am going to be explaining certain things that you guys already know, but I want to make sure everybody knows. All right, so factory carburetors, that's what the people are doing in stock eliminator and super stock, by the way. So those big wheelies, that's an example of efficient power start to finish. That's why we love stock and super stock eliminators. Driverinterviews.com. Also, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Driver Interviews. Check it out. Hit the follow button for me. I want you guys to make sure you're getting all my content. I do things on YouTube. I go live on Facebook. If I'm at the track, I might be going live on Facebook, but not on YouTube. So I want you to I don't want you to miss anything. All right. And then last but not least, draginsights.com. Spy on your opponents. It's only $50 for the year. If you want to see your own stats, it's free. Get in there. All you need is an email address to sign up. So draginsights.com for the data and the stats, and check it out because it's all new things coming in there constantly. New stats that I keep when I think of something that I want to see. I hit the boss up and I say, hey boss, can we put that in there? And they make it happen for me. So draginsights.com. All you need is an email address. Check it out. All right, let's see. Well, there's a lot of people here. Toby, what's up? How you doing? Paul, good afternoon. Good to see you, buddy. Kirk, what's the huge news? Kirk, we're going to be talking about the AHFS today, the automatic horsepower factoring system that is heavily involved in classifying our cars in the stock and super stock categories, our minimum weights, and they are dictated by what's called a horsepower rating, and that's what we're doing today, as if you already didn't know. Finally able to catch one of the lives. Great to have you here. Good to see you. Tom, how you doing, buddy? Tom Gent. Chris McBride, what's going on? Oh, lots going on. And I don't understand. I don't like this little wavy light that's showing up. I think it's because I have an LED light in the house. Frank, what's going on? Frank Magaro, good to see you. I saw you at Maple Grove. All right, so that means we must have talked. The other Cooter is a much better driver. Okay, James. No, that's not true. Or is it? And Nick Ryder. All right. That's a superstar. And an Army combat veteran, by the way. Nick Ryder, thank you for your service. Okay, let's see here. Before we get to the main AHFS, I know you all want to get there. I just want to mention a couple things. First of all, I want a roll call for the Dutch Classic. All right, the Dutch Classic, October 21st to the 23rd at Maple Grove Dragway. Let me know if you're going. And anybody that's watching this that has not been to the races in a while, or anybody that wants to race this event, this is the greatest muscle car show on earth. The Dutch Classic at Maple Grove Raceway in October. It's the biggest national open in the country. Easily like 100 stockers, 100 super stockers, good air. You'll be seeing fast times. People will set records at this event. Big wheelies like we already talked about. The car show that you don't want to miss. All right, Maple Grove Raceway, October 21st to the 23rd. If I was smart, I would have had the banner here to pop up for you. I had it last week, and I forgot to put it in here. Racers, you do get a grade point for being here. There are no points involved as far as Lucas Oil Divisional. We were trying to make it a Lucas Oil Divisional Points Series event because we lost our Virginia event due to the bad weather. And some of us are, trying to chase points at the end of the season. I don't think that's going to happen, but this is a race that you don't want to miss. I will be there either racing stock or just doing interviews because this is probably the best chance for me to get some great content. Is at this race. You see racers that don't come out that often that love this race. They come from far and wide, coming from other continents to be in this race. So I highly recommend that you get there. All right. Anybody that hasn't been to this race, get there. Maple Grove Raceway. Brian Warner's racing stock at the Dutch. All right. And Richard Boyle. I hope to see you there, Richard. I hope you're feeling well. I know that I heard that you had a couple health issues and wish you well. And Steve Zupka will be at the Dutch. All right, so there you go. There's some all-star drivers already planning on going. I might as well just stay home. I don't have a chance now. I don't even know if maybe I'll just go and shove cameras in their faces. All right. I want to mention sad news in our racing world. Everett Hill, who is a longtime super stock racer and stock racer down out of Georgia, his son James Hill still competes. Everett Hill passed away recently. I was just speaking to him and James at the Jeg Sports Nationals, which seems like only, last week, but I guess it was a couple months ago now. And I'm just still can't believe it. And they had a great story about my car. They knew the owner and driver of my 65 Mustang long before we ever had it. So it was cool to talk to them about that. And it's just a shame. Everett Hill, rest in peace. And James, praying for you and your family. Frankie Aragona, longtime comp racer, multi-time world champion. Frank Aragona is battling some health issues as well. And we are praying for Frank Aragona and his family and hope that he comes around. If anybody has updates on his condition, please let me know and comment so we can see, hopefully some positive progress there. And all right, that's our sad but hoping for positive news alerts. I want to ask everybody a question. Junior Street, that's the thing where you can put your kid in a car, 13 to 16 years old. They can drive a car 8th mile with you sitting in the front seat. I want to do that, though I really can't see me letting my stepson operate any kind of machinery yet. So my question is, I know it's for kids 13 to 16, but what if you have a wife that you want to kind of coach down the track and you're a little scared to let her go down the track, even in a passenger vehicle by herself? Do you think they'll let me put her in the driver's seat and let me ride down with her? So anybody that knows more about the Junior Street program, let me know. Believe me, she won't have an advantage over the 13 to 16-year-old kids as far as the racing aspect is concerned. I really just want to ride with her down the track and show her, tell her, coach her what to do along the way. And I'm hoping that I can do that with Junior Street at Atco Dragway. All right, so that's all I have for you as far as the announcements are concerned. Somebody comment and let me know. Richard, thank you very much. All right, Frankie Aragona is doing better and heading home today. All right. Oh, and that's great news. And by the way, Danny French said he saw the Camellas are bringing the CUDA. There is a Hemi shootout at the Dutch Classic. Anybody that loves those super stock AH426 Hemi cars, make sure you check that out at the Dutch Classic. They have another shootout. I don't know if it's as big as the one at Indy. I don't know if they get as many cars, but it's still a nice payout, and they go fast because it's October at Maple Grove. So you want to check that out. Probably going 820s, 830s. So check that out. Yep. All right. Thanks, James. I appreciate that. Yeah. No, my wife is not 13 to 16 years old. Okay. All right. And Ray, licensed driver. Well, they don't have to be licensed because 13 to 16-year-olds aren't. But I mean, my wife's clearly licensed somehow, and I would just like to, coach her down the track. And then the adult has to drive the car. So the child is only allowed to drive the car in the staging lanes once the car is already there, and then down the track. After you get down the track, you have to switch, and the adult has to drive it back to the pits. The adult has to drive it from the pits to the staging lanes. Then the child's allowed to take over. So I read that yesterday. All right. You should be able to ride along at any test and tune night. Yeah, no, that's what I'm hoping for. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the AHFS discussion. For anybody that doesn't know, that's the automatic horsepower factoring system. Stock and super stock, you are classified by a weight break. That weight break is calculated based on shipping weight of the vehicle divided by horsepower rating of the vehicle, not the advertised horsepower. The advertised horsepower is what the manufacturer came up with back in when they made the car, and they submitted that to NHRA. And then NHRA uses their data to come up with the horsepower rating, which then gets divided into the shipping weight of the vehicle, and then you get a number. Let's say that number is 13. Okay, 13 in super stock is super stock L. So my car, my 65 Mustang, falls in the 13 weight break area. It is a 289, 225 horsepower motor advertised, but it's rated at 209 horsepower by NHRA. I just kicked the table. Sorry about that. And then NHRA takes that shipping weight. I think it's 2741 divided by 209, and it's like 13 point something. Well, you round it down to 13.0, and there we go. I do 209 times 13. That gets me a number that I then add 170 to. That's the driver weight standard number. So 209 times 13 plus 170 equals the minimum weight that I have to weigh with me in the car in super stock. So anybody that wasn't aware of that, that's how you come up with that number. Okay, so now we just got news that the AHFS is not going to use automatic triggers anymore. Okay, the triggers, if you went 1.2 seconds under, you automatically got hit with a weight penalty immediately after that weekend. So on Monday morning, we'll say. All right, they've done away with that. Now we are using averages throughout the entire year. Okay, so for everybody that's already a racer, I'm going to assume 90% of the people watching right now are already racers. They already know how this works. Okay. I'm trying to weigh out the pros and cons of this, and by all means, everybody comment what you think here. I am a little nervous about certain situations where somebody, now that they're not using automatic triggers anymore, but they are counting it against an average. However, that average is not taking place till the end of the year. When? November, December? If somebody comes out in February and March, Gainesville, Pomona, what have you, and clearly establishes some dominance, 140 under, we'll say, not getting hit with an automatic, penalty anymore. To qualify number one now. Let's get the buy runs. There's no points or rewards associated with qualifying number one as of this moment, other than you could get a first round buy run. They could do that all year, let's say. And there's no review until the end of the year. Now, multiple people could be doing that. There could be 5 or 6 racers that are just annihilating the rest of the field. I know there's certain cars out there that can go like 180 under. Now, they're going to have to deal with that at the end of the year, but throughout that whole year, they could qualify number one, hog the top spots on ladders, get buy runs throughout the year, which then in turn does equate to points, bonus points, if you want to call it that. and then deal with the consequences at the end of the year when they're obviously going to get hit pretty hard. They can deal with that at the end of the year, or they could just ditch the combo. Let's say they ditch the combo at the end of the year, or call it a certain year that they know next year they might be able to call it another year. And I can give you an example of that in just my stalker, in my stalker Mustang 5.0, where 99.9% of anybody that runs a Mustang 5.0 in stock eliminator, the Fox body, and specifically the years 1987 to 1993, they were all the same design. 99.9% of those racers call it a 1988 or a 1989 Mustang. They're rated at 215. It's a 302, 225. I think it's a 225 horse rated at 215. I am the 0.1% that calls mine a 1992 Mustang. I actually take a 2 horsepower penalty. I'm rated at 217, same engine. The reason I do that is because I want to run up in K stock automatic that has a nice cushy 1265 index. Whereas if I call mine a 1988 or 89, I'm locked into the natural M class, which I can move up to L. So I'm locked into L stock automatic. I run light. I want to run high up in the alphabet as I possibly can. So I'm locked into L, which is an 11 or a 1270 index. Okay, really stupid, right? The indexes drop 15 hundredths all the way down the alphabet until we get from J to K, where it drops 20. I don't know why. And then from K to L, it drops 5. So you go from a 1265 to a 1270 index. So I don't want to run L. And the L automatic and the L stick indexes are the same for some reason. That's one of the only situations where it's the same. I think it's dumb. But due to the shipping weight, I'm locked. If I call mine an 88 or an 89, all the hatchbacks are locked into LMN class. The notchbacks are able to move up. Their shipping weights are lighter, and they can move up into KLM. So I call mine a 92 Mustang. I could take a 2 horsepower hit for that just so I can move up to K. I'm allowed to take 80 pounds out of the car and move up to K. Well, take 80 pounds out and only lose 5 on the index. I think it's a worthwhile trade for me. So let's say somebody who's really fast with an 88 or 89 Mustang decides, you know what, I'm going to call mine a 92 Mustang. I'll annihilate, I'll go really, really fast all year, hurt that average, get that hit with horsepower at the end of the year when it gets reviewed, and then I'll just go back to calling mine an 88 or an 89 Mustang. Or they switch back and forth throughout the year. They call it a 92 Mustang when they think they're going to go fast. The air is really killer this weekend. I'll call it a 92. Now the air is not so good at this race. I'll go back to calling it an 89. And you tamper with the averages of different combos. So I really think without the automatic triggers, we got to have at least 2 review periods. Got to have more than 1 review period. Let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of people were for it, but there were some people against it. Jeff Dona brought up a very good point with that, saying, well, if you in the past when they did have 2 review periods, and this is why I'm suggesting it. It's something that was done for a long time. The first review period used to end May 31st. I thought that's a little bit early. I don't know why it had to end on May 31st, but I guess they're trying to split the races in the middle between the start of the season and the end of the season. Well, the only divisions that really had gotten many races in by May 31st were Division 2, Division 7, Division 3 only had like 1 race in. Division 4, I think, had 1 race in. 5 and 7, the other divisions had 3 or 4 races in, but some divisions weren't well represented in that data. So I understand where Jeff Dona was coming from there. But I just don't think you can wait until all the way at the end of the season to run an average on a combo, and let alone what if the teardowns don't happen until the end of the season. Now, we have no reason to think that. We have not heard that teardowns are going to stop, and I know a lot of people are assuming the NHRA is getting rid of the 120 automatic hits because they think NHRA doesn't want to do teardowns anymore. But you guys got to remember, how many cars were torn down at Indy? How many cars, at least 3 that we know of, were torn down at Maple Grove National event, only one of which went 120 under. I don't think Russell Linky, Bubba Linky went 120 under. Joe Santangelo didn't go 120 under. Both those guys got torn down. And George Vignona got torn down. He went 120 under. He went 1.205 under in a class final. So he did get torn down. We have no reason to believe that teardowns are going to stop all of a sudden. But, side note, if a car is torn down in October, okay, and it's been running fast all year, and then it's deemed illegal. Let's say it does have an infraction, a improper head gasket, or the cam lift is too high on the intake or the exhaust or whatever, or the carburetor is illegal. What's the penalty going to be? What happens? What if that racer is high up in the points? What if that racer won a lot of races or won a lot of class runoffs? Particularly heads-up races where the performance really comes into play. What's the penalty going to be? This is a very, very sticky situation that Lonnie Grimm is in, because he's got to be a disciplinarian and he's got to rebuild relationships between the racers and the NHRA. That's two very contradictory views right there. That is a tough job. I don't know anybody that would want that job other than Lonnie Grimm that has it right now. And who knows if he still wants it. Couldn't pay me to do it. But this is definitely, it puts a lot of emphasis on the legality issues. If cars are going to be going fast all year and only get reviewed at the end of the year, we have to make sure these cars are legal. So I'm advocating for spot checks. Obviously, the teardowns, keep them going. I know my number's pulled, I'll be right in there. Okay, might take me a little while to tear down a motor though. I'm gonna need some help. But yeah, should be okay. Tom Baker believes it should be an ejection for the following year. Hey, you know what? You can't go back in time and take away. I mean, if you can't go back in time and take away their wins and try and figure out how you would reward all the ones that lost to that opponent, you gotta play it forward, I guess, and eject them for next year. So I guess that's a good idea, Tom. Anybody else agrees with that? K-Rod, I think the NHRA needs to look at all the combos and ratings that have been lowered, like, for instance, newer GTOs with the same motor as the Firebirds. Okay. Well, the newer, there's what, the 04 GTO that runs the what, LS2, I think. I do believe they go across engine families when they do these reviews now, and that given that those platforms are so different, maybe they don't cross those two. So it could be. Used to be a suspension. All right, Cassandra Stickles and Brian Warner go back to the 1-year suspension. All right, so there we go. We got three people kind of advocating for the suspension. And then JR, you're thinking that now everything is always up to the sole discretion of the NHRA. So in the end, they get the final decision. Sure. So if you understand correctly, NHRA can still give you an instant hit on Tuesday at their discretion. They haven't said that, and I don't know. I read that thing top to bottom a couple times. I didn't see that in there. But everything is at their sole discretion, so you could be right. Some people were worried about the let's see, the runs of 35 under not counting anymore. Runs of 35 under don't count anymore when they are discussing horsepower reviews at the end. Okay, the review at the end. That they are counted. They're counted in horsepower reduction requests. So we'll get to that in a second. So at the end of the year, so let's say you go 120, 120, 120. By the way, every 120 under run needs a 0.49 under run to counteract it, to get that average to be below 85 under. So every 120 run needs a 49 under run to go with it. All right, everybody be aware. Nick Ryder thinks you should get a fine, $1,000 fine. Nick, I don't know if that's enough. And where would that money go anyway? Is it going to go to our payout? Does it go to a fund that compensates all the opponents that lost to that racer? I don't know. So let's see here. The LS6 combo for the GTO is low because of the aerodynamics of it, but it's the same number. All right. Back to the horsepower sliding scale here. If your averages are found to be this far under, 1 to 109, 130 to 135, blah, 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 that's how much they increase your horsepower by. Those percentages right there. Now you can see that all the automatic, the immediate changes. On the right side there, it says index change. I'll show that again. Show that again there, Mr. Producer. Thank you. The index changes. That's for comp eliminator, I believe, and for not for the modified cars. I don't think the modified cars. Somebody let me know what's the deal with modified cars in super stock. Do they get horsepower hits or do they get index changes? Because now I'm drawing a blank here. I thought they got horsepower, but I know they're more based on cubic inch than they are. They're not calculated the same way we are. And anybody that wants a little bit more education on that, watch my Venice Perno interview. He kind of explains that a little bit better, the differences between modified and regular super stock. But anyways, the moral of that story was runs of 35 under do not count. So now you have to run between 35.1 and 49.9 under if you want to counteract any 120 under runs. All right, everybody? I shouldn't be giving the pearls like that because I can't go 120 under. Runs of 10 under. Now, this is horsepower reduction requests here. So if you want to try and reduce your horsepower, if you think I'm slow and I need to take weight out of my car, I need them to look at my averages and take weight out of my car. If your average is 54.9 and slower, not 55.0. If your average is 55.0, you get nothing. You have to be 54.9 and slower to get a horsepower reduction. However, you cannot run 65 under more than 2 times in that entire review period. So I do believe horsepower reduction requests should stay at 1 time per year at the end of the year. This was slightly abused when it was 2 times per year. You could run slow for a couple months, get a reduction, and then run fast at the end of the year or before Indy. You get your reductions in last minute. I think that should stay 1 time a year at the end of the year. Have a nice big sample space of data to look at and make that determination. Because getting horsepower back, that's a pretty big deal, I would think. As far as teardowns now, people have advocated, why are we only tearing down the fast cars? We need to tear down the slow cars too. It takes a lot of work to be fast. We want to know what the slow cars are doing, especially people that are barely running the index. Tear them down and make sure they're legal. Yeah. We want to make sure every single car in stock and super stock is legal. I'm all for that, okay? But with the manpower we have right now and the amount of people that are working for NHRA to do these teardowns, I just think it's a little bit more pressing to tear down the cars that could be affecting combos of other drivers, that could be qualifying at the top of the sheet, affecting other drivers, and could be winning, runoffs, but their performance affecting other drivers. Cars that are going slow, yeah, I want to make sure they're legal, especially in the bracket racing aspect. I want to make sure they're not using any electronics, to win, even though they're only going 4/10 or 3/10 or 2/10 under the index. I want to make sure that they're playing on the, on the level playing field here. I want to make sure they're not using timing manipulators and systems and grid controls and, all that stuff. So yeah, sure. All cars, would love to make sure all cars are on the up and up when it comes to the bracket race aspect. But as far as the teardowns go and the performance aspect, obviously, if you're tearing down performance, you're going to tear down the faster cars, right? You want to make sure that they're legal. They're affecting more people at this time until we can get more manpower. All right. Okay. Now, in looking at the thread there on Class Racer, the thread, for anybody that doesn't know, was called the mines are closed, right? That's what it was called. The mines are now closed. And Billy Neese on there, Mr. Dime Rocket himself, he believes that, I think I kind of agree with him too, that if you go fast and you go faster than the record, congratulations, you're the new record holder. Go to the barn. See you later. Okay? You get torn down and you're given the record. Why are racers going faster than the records but not being awarded a record? Why does it have to be a Thursday morning run at a national open, or it could be at a divisional, but no one does it there. You do it at a national open so you can go fast if you're one of the few and the proud that want to set a record. I don't think it should be that way. It's not that way in the pro categories, is it? Unless it changed over the last 20 years since I've been paying attention. But I used to go to Maple Grove National event when I was a kid, and I would have the national dragster there. I'd be looking at the records in the back and saying, oh my God, the top fuel record is like 4:58. Like maybe somebody will go faster than that. And there goes like Joe Amato, and he goes 4:55. Cool. He's the new record holder. He had to do the backup. There's a 1% backup required. So as long as they met the backup, that was it. They got the record. Same with us. Let's do the backup system. Now, if a racer goes really fast and, you know, if they go faster than the record, they still have to do the backup. Well, their motor should be sealed right then and there. Whether they decide they want to do the backup or not, I guess that's up to them. How do we handle the backup run? So is it 1%? 1% of our 10-second elapsed times is probably, it's a lot more than a 4-second elapsed time. Let's just say that. If they decide they want no parts of that record and they want no parts of that teardown, well, I don't know if it gets them out of the teardown. So if you are going to the teardown, wouldn't you want to get the record with it? So I would take the record. So let's come up with an incentive for the record. Let's come up with a little prize or purse or point system. So now let's get on to that. Points for performance. What do you guys think of points for top qualifiers, class winners, things of that nature, and setting records? There's the three, right? Top qualifiers, class winners, and setting records. I think I did a little talk at large on that about 4 or 5 months ago, because I think you should get bonus points for that. And I think I said number 1 qualifier should get 5, number 2 qualifier should get 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, just a couple extra bonus points. I think higher qualified cars should get lane choice. I don't think there should be a coin toss. What are we wasting time for that for? It already takes us long enough to get paired up. And that's coming from me. I'm always in the bottom half, so I would never get lane choice again. And you know what? I don't even want to think about lane choice. I'd rather just the other guy tell me where I have to go, and that's it. I don't have to overthink that one. But it was, and class wins, I thought, now remember everybody, you get 30 points for losing first round at an event. 30. Okay, I wanted class win to get, like, depending on how many cars were in the class, by the way. If it was just a final round where 2 cars ran off, then it wasn't as many points as, like, say, a combo where there's like 8 cars and you have to go 3 rounds to win it. So it was a round by round case. But I thought you should get points for winning class. Why not, right? We get the Wally, that's great. But let's get some points. Let's let some drivers that maybe are more performance oriented. Maybe they're not bracket racing all-stars. Let them get rewarded for their performance. Now, that's not saying people that go fast don't know how to race. Okay, I know there's people that can do both. Clearly, there's people that can do both. We've just seen that, recently. So I'm not saying that. However, there was an argument against top qualifiers getting points. Their argument was the top qualifier gets a bye run most of the time when they qualify, the number 1 qualifier. And then that person did research and looked at a year where I think a world champ qualified number 1 everywhere they went that year, basically, or qualified number 1 7 times, and got 7 bye runs. That's 70 points. He said, that driver got 70 points. That's enough bonus points. What do they need 5 more for? So let me know what you guys think of that. Because apparently that combo that year was another one of those combos that was just fast. I think it was a car that just wasn't really factored properly yet. It was a newer car. So I don't know. It brought up a counterexample that I had not thought about. So slippery slope, I don't know. Maybe you go out and borrow a car to beat that guy. Now that there's no more automatic trigger, are more people going to be shooting for the number 1 spots and then taking the rest of the time to get their average down? I mean, you can't get your average down forever. You probably can in super stock because there's 9 million classes. But in stock, that's got to be hard. You're going to run into somebody eventually, heads up, or in a class runoff, or maybe 4th round at a national event. And now you got to choose. Do I want to protect my combo or do I want to win? And that's a tough choice for a lot of people. I know it's a tough one for me. I'm going for the win. And, it'll probably hurt me, especially, like I said earlier, in that Fox body hatchback Mustang that I run. I'm the only one in the country running it. So I really got to be careful with that thing because it's a I have to bring the average down. There's nobody else to help me do it. There's nobody else to help me hurt it that I know of yet, but it's my job to bring it down. You don't always get a bye. That's true. Now, if there's an even number of cars, the number one driver doesn't get a bye run first round. If they win first round, they get one second round if there's an odd number in the second round. So as soon as there's an odd number of cars, they will get the bye run. They have to make it past that first round, though, and that's not a gimme in what we do, because most of what we do is a bracket race for that matter, and qualifying number one doesn't mean a thing when it comes to that aspect. All right, let's see what a couple people are saying. My voice hurts. I want a lot of feedback here, and I'm getting a lot of it, and I want to make sure that you guys are all being seen. So if there's an incentive for points, somebody else might have tried to outrun him. That's what I was saying, Richard. That was my counter example to the counter example was, well, if there was points involved, maybe somebody else would have been trying. Maybe if he was 108 under, maybe somebody would have tried to go 109 under. If he's 118 under, is anybody going to try and slide into that 119 area? Then that was getting very tricky with the 120 automatic hits. So now maybe that's not the case anymore. If somebody goes 118 under, somebody will probably try to go 119 under or whatever. I think at the end of the year, this is going to play out more than in the beginning of the year. I think the beginning of the year, maybe people are going to spend time protecting the combo a little bit. And then toward the end of the year, it's going to be, all right, I built up my bank. Now I need to go fast here. Or I need to go fast at Indy, or I need to go fast to try and win this round because I'm in the points chase. So let's see. Who else? Everybody should be torn down at least once in a 3-year period. That sounds like, that's probably a pretty good idea. Maybe Lonnie's watching this right now. Would have been nice to get him on here, and explain, but I think this would have really turned into a show, an S show. Can't curse on YouTube. If that would have happened, would have been interesting. Warner, we need someone in tech who knows how to tear down electronic ignition and fuel injection systems. If caught cheating there in that department, you should be suspended indefinitely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Okay, that's not a case of my carburetor had the wrong no, even that's kind of blatant. All right, my cam lift was over by 2 thousandths, all right, or something was out by 1 thou or 2. Okay, that should be a little bit less of a penalty than some blatant, anything electronic, delay boxes, anything like this is freaking blatant. Gone. See you later, pal. Crucify him or her. All right. Thank you, Warner. I agree with you. Okay, and then James Williamson, at least with the instant horsepower hit, there was a chance someone would get hit. Now there's no chance if you play the game right. There was. Now, what about if we just took the 120 and moved it up to 130 or something like that? Is that, like, what can we do here? If we're not going to go to 2 review periods per year, which I want, or the 1 review for the horsepower reduction. Remember, in case you're just joining, if we're not going to do the 2 per year, what can we do? We've got to have, like, are we just going to sit back and watch, and it's a hypothetical, but if the same person just keeps going 140 under, and let's say they're just planning on building a new car next year and they don't care, 150, they'll go as fast as they want. And we know some of these cars can do it. What, like, no automatic trigger at all? Like something that maybe triggers the first half review. I don't know. Maybe if you go if you go far enough under, you get reviewed in that first review period. Maybe there's 2 review periods, but not everybody gets reviewed in that first review period. I don't know. Somebody come up with something. Suggest something. Richard Boyle, 70 points might not have helped much if he was needing to improve on a 3rd round loss. Those 40 points get tossed. Yeah, I know, but 70 points helps everybody, Richard. 70 points that's a what do you get? In Division 1, normally you get 105 points for a win and 85 for a runner-up. So that means, and that's if it's a 7-round race. So that's basically like 70 points is like going 6 rounds at another race, isn't it? I don't know, man. That's still a lot of points. I would love 70 points right now. I would love another race right now just to try and win the division. Got to get past those Warners and Knowles. Who else do we have here? Pete. Pete's on board. All right, Pete. I know you sent that 7 minutes ago, so I don't remember what I was talking about at that moment, but you said you're on board with a lot of them, so that's good. All right. And Tommy Baker. NHRA should announce why a competitor is ejected or suspended instead of just hearsay. Like, actually what happened and for the transparency. Yeah, what do you guys think of that? I know is it a case where they don't want to embarrass the person? Like, all right, if they're blatantly caught cheating, embarrass the hell out of the person. Plaster them. Put their picture up, okay? Put a picture of what they were using up. Like, tell us everything. I want to know everything. If it's a case of something very minor that turns out to be illegal, I don't know. Maybe still be transparent about it. Maybe say, here's what happened. And I think they did. I mean, they said that the, at the Maple Grove, the cam lift was off by a few thousands. All right, that's pretty transparent. We get it. And don't forget, this is NHRA drag racing. I mean, the rumor mills are flying left and right. We knew. Everybody thinks they knew what happened before it even was released. That could be a problem also. All right? We don't want to be the party of jumping to conclusions before we have the facts. Right, everybody? We don't want to be like that. But as much transparency as possible. I'm all for it. All for it. Let's see here. Now, somebody else recommended, I hear this recommendation all the time, okay, and it makes no sense to me. Combining sticks and autos to increase the amount of heads-up runs to make it more performance-based. Sure. How many more heads-up runs is that going to create? I'm the only stick car everywhere I go in Superstock. So I'm Superstock L. Maybe there might be one other car in stick shift, another stick shift car, one other one. I think there was 2 of us at ATCO at the divisional in August. All right, so that's really not going to do a whole lot for Superstock. There aren't any stick shift drivers in Superstock. You got to be an idiot to run the stick shift car in Superstock at this point. That's coming from me. I was just boom, releasing the trans brake button in Paul Gunther's car recently with the air shifter. What kind of moron would want to run a stick shift in Superstock against that? You got to be an idiot. All right. So, anyways, I don't know how many Superstock L automatic cars are showing up at a drag race. So I don't know what I would be combined with. However, the next problem with that is I have another stupid, if I may say so myself, index in Superstock L stick. It's 1125. You know what the Superstock L automatic index is? It's not 1125. It's not 1130. It's not even 1140. It's 1145. So L automatic gets a 1145. Superstock L gets an 1125. What do we do there? I mean, combine me with the L automatics, please, and give me that 1145 index. And I'm already somewhat for it, but I'd be definitely all for it if I get an 1145 index out of it. So let's do it up. Anyways, combining sticks and autos, don't think it'll do a damn thing for Superstock. Stock, yeah, it might. But don't forget, Stock's got more heads-up runs. Stock doesn't have 9 million classes like Superstock does. We don't have to worry about GT and all that crap and modified. All right, so, and factory GT. We just have stock and we have factory stock, and then you have the 1 or 2 front-wheel drive cars or the a couple of the W stockers. All right, big deal. All right, Stock's got it. Stock's fine. I don't think you need to combine it there. But if you do, think about what you're going to do with the indexes, because a lot of the stick and auto indexes are different. Except when I need it to be an L stock automatic, it's not. Go figure. All right. Warner, years ago at Rockingham, they nailed a guy's delay box. They found... Whoa. Oh, they nailed his delay box to the board by the scales. Nice. Was it a stock and super stock racer? God, I hope not. Because, man, if I find out there's delay boxes in stock and super stock, I'm just going to be so sad. Come on, guys. We got to keep it clean. Stock and super stock. We're the pinnacle of drag racing. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. right? We're the best show on earth. I mean, just watch that YouTube short I put up. All those people, stock and soups. I couldn't even fit them all in 1 minute. I had to chop that thing down. I could have went more, but YouTube Shorts won't let you go past a minute. Boyle, I like the transparency. The engine builder should be included too. That's another thing. A lot of these racers we race with, they drop their engine off, they pick their engine up, and they put it in the car. A lot of them aren't assembling these engines, okay? Doing the machine work, all right? Doing the heads, doing whatever requires you to go fast, all right? So where do you lay the blame? Is it up to the racer? Is it up to the engine builder? I mean, it's got to definitely always falls on the racer, but is the engine builder responsible also? So that's a good discussion there. The engine builder. Super stock. What? Who was it? Be transparent. Let's go. Let's start the transparency now. Super stock delay box. What an a-hole. Man, I hope he or she's not racing anymore. Dwayne Iscant. That was Mark Young back in the day. Even when they let him back in years later, he refused to take all the resistors out of the wiring for the trans brake. So they finally said, don't come back. Why? Why would he refuse that? Wouldn't you want your name to be as clean and clear as possible? I would have said, here, take the car for 2 days. Try not to scratch it up, but go ahead and look at what you want. I need my name cleared. All right. And Warren, yes, that's what we're shooting for here. We want to be consistent with tech on all the cars. We have a manpower problem, though. Everybody's aware of it. Okay. NHRA, from what I'm hearing, is also hurting for money. I have no idea how or why. We pay fee after fee. We pay a lot of money to enter races. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm not the accountant. I don't claim to know how to run a track, what money comes in, what money goes out. You know, I don't know what NHRA's revenue versus profit is. All I know is that I pay, what do I pay? Remind me, $60 for the competition number for the year. I pay like $60 for the membership. I have my level 5 license, but I was driving Paul Gunther's car. I had to get another special license. I had to pay more money for that. I pay $200 to go to a Division I event. I pay $340 to go to a national event. I get no free crew passes, obviously, so I got to pay $85 or $90. What is it? $95 for the crew pass for Dad to come along with me. I got to pay $50 for the crew pass for him to come into a divisional. All right, we pay all this money. We clearly don't get very much payout, right? Where does all the money go? Tracks were sold, right? Atlanta was sold. There's a transparency case right there. Where did all that money go? So are they hurting? Like, if they are, let us know. Be transparent. Maybe we have some ideas that could help. But yeah, clearly we know, and we know from, I guess it's public knowledge, given that it's a 501c, not for profit. I guess that makes it public knowledge what the board members make, and they make a lot. Okay, they make an awful lot. Could they take? I'm in no position to tell people to take a pay cut, but given what we get as far as payouts are concerned and what we pay, it's kind of a lot. 350,000 is actually the low end of that, if I remember correctly. There was some in there that were making 800,000. And there was a couple 5s and 6s, I think. So it's up there. It is up there. Does it need to be that high in 2022 when a lot of people were kind of hurting? Inflation's running wild. I don't know. I don't think so. But that could be used to maybe hire some manpower. I think they still pay the workers that come in to race or run an event or work an event, I should say, not run an event, work an event. I think they get pretty low pay. Minimum wage in that state is what I've kind of heard before, given where the event takes place. So it's a big gap right there, and we could sure use a little bit more manpower to police these cars and help maybe, help Lonnie, maybe educate, maybe a program that helps educate tech officials and teardown coordinators, what to look for. Maybe they're already doing that and I don't know, but if anybody knows, comment and let us know. Justin Lewis, your stick class index is faster than an automatic by 1500ths. All right, let me know what class that is, by the way. Sticks, it's 2022 now. The automatics have good technology, high stall converters. They can run a radial tire. Do they need to have indexes that are that much slower than the sticks? I don't think they do anymore. So let me know what you think. Yeah, clearly I'm biased on that one. Every bracket racer in all 7 divisions have to pay as well. You're right. Yeah, it's not just us, the Lucas Oil racers. It's the bracket racers too. If they want to be in the bracket finals, they have to be a member. Yeah, remember that. All right. Got to have a competition number and a member and all that. Yep. All right. And that's Q stick. Wow. Awesome. That sounds like a nice heavy car and with a stick in it. Justin, let us know what car that is. All right. Is there any comments up here that I did miss? Because they were flying in. I'm trying to get to them all. I don't think we did. All right. Let me keep going here. Let's see. Where were we? Teardown. Well, this is where I actually had in my notes that teardowns aren't going away. We can't assume that they are, but we already mentioned that. So I pretty much, guys, I think, we covered everything that we needed to cover today. If anybody, next time, if somebody wants to come on, let me know. I can do that with this StreamYard. So it's pretty cool. Bring us in and we can have a discussion. All right. Someone claimed that they don't tear down cars in Division 7. That needs to be verified and asked why. I saw that on Class Racer, and I thought that I don't know if that was an exaggeration, but how much manpower do they have out there? How many races do they still have out there? I know they have a double coming up in Bakersfield. That's pretty cool. I'm excited to hear that. If anybody has a car for me to drive, let me know. And in St. Louis at the double this weekend, let me know. Or Orlando, October 14th and 15th, let me know. Sorry, shameless plugs. Super stock car, by the way. All right, yeah, we want to find out if that is accurate or not. And then Billy Neese also said that when Barry Parker proposed points for qualifying in the top, Barry Parker proposed a little bit of points, just like I did, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But Billy Neese says it needs to be more than that. What do you guys think? Does it need to be more than that for qualifying in the top? Remember, the counterexample to that was qualifying top, you get buy runs, or you're in a position to get buy runs, and that's more bonus points. So I don't know, qualifying number 2, 3, 4, and 5 doesn't really get you a buy run right away. So, well, I guess we need to come up with something on that one. All right, so my propositions were 2 review periods per year because there's no more automatic trigger. 1 review period for the horsepower reduction. The potential sliding scale, I'm not proposing this, but other people were, of maybe keeping a trigger but just raising it. So comment on that. James Williamson, we need changes to the system, but apparently NHRA is not here. Well, I'm trying. I'm not an SRAC. Jeez, couldn't think of it. I'm not one of those people. So you got to address it to your division director or division SRAC person. John Gray was torn down in the Vegas divisional. All right, so D7's, I don't know when that was, John, but if it was within the last year, I guess they're still tearing down racers. So, we can't assume that that's not happening anymore. I'm starting to think it's going to increase rather than decrease. Just the way they were kind of setting a tone this year, I felt like I saw a lot more random teardowns at different races. Okay, we all know teardowns happen at Indy, but they're happening at other races now. I think that's a good sign. Keep people on their toes. Lastly, one thing that I did propose last week, and probably you've heard me mention it a couple times now, the weight stickers. I would like the weight stickers to be a little more transparent, okay? Year, it's got to be on the weight sticker. I want year on there, cubic inch, obviously, advertised horsepower, NHRA rated horsepower, minimum weight. All right. If you want to go even further with the weight sticker, maybe you put shipping weight on there and the weight break. That would be really cool. But now the sticker is probably going to be like this big. But who cares? Put a little NHRA logo on it. Get yourself some more advertisement. A QR code. Now, here's the problem with the QR code. I think the QR code would be great. Any tech official, any curious person, any spectator walking by can bump the QR code with their phone, and it takes them right to the sheets on NHRAracer.com, the stock classification guide, and then you can see what that combo is. I don't know if it's going to be able to hone in on that combo. It's just going to take you to that sheet. It's just going to take you to like 1967 Chevrolet or whatever. Then it's up to them to like scroll through it and see what it is. But then they'll see the cubic inch, and then they'll see the horsepower rating. They can make sure that it's accurate, and that's all great. But in order for the QR code, you have to program in that website for the QR code. So if a racer is changing classes by calling it different year, year is going to be the only thing that changes that. By calling it a different year, then the QR code is going to have to be different. So you'll need like a portable print, like all the tech barns are going to have this little portable like printer, and it's going to be hooked up to the computer there, and it's just going to change the QR code, because now it's going to take it to 1970 Chevrolet instead of like 1969 Chevrolet or whatever. So that's all. Boom, change that, print, it spits it out. It should be like a nice hologram, you can't replicate the sticker and put your own crap on it. That goes on the car. So I think it's great. I think it's great for spectators to be able to see it. I think it's great for tech officials to see it. It doesn't, if you're changing cubic inch, if you're changing the combo within the year, that's not going to change the QR code. So that's fine. You can kind of just change that on there. QR code is only just going to take you to the year and the make, and that's it. So I would like it if the weight stickers were a little bit more transparent. GT classes don't have to be so mysterious. Like, it's nice to know what's going on. Did they tear you down at Charlotte, Brian Warner? And as far as I know, they did tear him down. And I'm sure he'll chime in and answer that. Mike Rice will tear down a church if he suspects cheating. All right, Billy Gibbs, are you out of the state of Washington? And Mike Rice he's D7, right? So that's good to know. And John Wareheim, coming to the Dutch, last race of the year for me. All right. Yep, and it would be for me too. So hope to see you there, John. Maybe we'll have a nice class runoff, L stock automatic or something if I feel like throwing the weight in the car. We'll see. All right, guys, I think I covered everything I want to cover today. You guys have been awesome. This is the most people I've ever had watch any podcast that I've ever done. Anything. Even some of my great shows that I did with class racing today. This one beats them all. So I'm honored. It's been an hour already. I didn't know I was talking that long. Geez, I thought it was only 30 minutes in. So this is one of my longer ones too. But I thank you guys all for joining, and comment. Keep this one going. Anybody that chimes in or is not seeing this now, because I know everybody's probably at work right now. But anybody that watches it tonight, chime in, comment. All right. We want to see comments. We want to see opinions and suggestions here. Okay. But don't complain, guys. We have to limit the complaining. All right. NHRA, sometimes they do try. They are trying. And I've seen Joe Costello trying to interview stock and super stock in the lanes, and people even complain to him. And I can see he gets frustrated. I've read his comments on Facebook sometimes where he says, look, even when we try, you guys still find a way to turn it negative. Okay? We can't have that. No complaining unless you're opposing a viable solution. Okay? That's my advice to you. Don't complain without posing a solution or a suggestion. Don't bitch just to bitch. Nobody likes that person. Okay? And there are a lot of us out there. And I see it all the time. People complain to me about the way I do an interview or edit, clips of an in-car camera. All right? People complain to complain. So don't do that. It doesn't do anything to help us. We have to be constructive here. Okay? We got to pose good solutions. We just can't complain for the sake of complaining and hearing ourselves complain. All right? When they do try, Give them credit for it. All right. Give credit where credit's due. I'm trying to get us on TV more. I'm trying to do a lot of things that are, everybody's telling me I'm wasting my time. Sure, maybe I am, but I'm not going to stop. Okay. I'm going to keep going, but do things to help me out, guys. Keep your cars out. You guys, we're all on the same team here. We're all doing something great. Every one of you guys is part of the car show, and it's great that you're all out there. All right. The guy that's doing the big wheelie out there, you're part of the car show. The guy that's going fast, the guy that's winning races, the guy that just comes out once in a while because he just likes being there and seeing his friends, okay? And people come up to him and talk to him about his car. That's great, man. You guys are all doing your part, and you guys are the ones that I'm trying to bring attention to, all right? Darcy Clark coming all the way out here with those two Mopars. He was contributing to that car show, man. That guy's a superstar. So thank you, Darcy Clark, guys. We're all on the same team until we race each other in the other lane and we hate each other's guts for those 10 seconds. After that, okay, we're all working to promote our brand here. Our brand is, unfortunately, the best kept secret in drag racing, and we don't want it to be that way anymore, all right? People coming up asking, when do you guys run? They're asking that for a reason. The 4 cars, we only had 4 cars in stock and super stock on Sunday at the Nationals to showcase our brand. Thankfully, out of those 8 total cars, and they did some nice wheelies, and I stood at the finish line. This is going to be a next video segment. Spectators watch stock and super stock for the first time. I want to get their reactions. Hey, I'm going to tell them, look, this is stock and super stock. This is what we do. Watch that 69 Camaro leave. Tell me what you think, okay? Santangelo's out there, and he puts Bertozzi's Camaro on the bumper. That's awesome for us. And everybody, watching it for the first time is amazed. So we're going to keep that going, all right? Nobody's stopping me right now. I am all in, baby, for better or worse. All right, guys, so keep it up. Keep doing your thing. Wear matching uniforms if you want. Dress nice. When they stick a camera in your face, I know people are shy. I know sometimes it's awkward. I know I do it. I try to make everybody as comfortable as possible. I know some people don't like when I put the camera in their faces. So I try to get that hint. I try to read your body language. I'm just trying to get you noticed. All right. So I'm trying to get all of us noticed. So if you don't want me to, just shrug me off. Just be like, nah. Because I try not to do it when you're like rolling out there. I try to make sure it's like when you're like at least 10 pairs back. But I know people are thinking, I know they're planning. So I don't want to do that. I just want to give people insight as to what we're doing here. All right. So that's it. I'm going to do my best. You guys do your best. Leave your cars out at the end of the day until all the spectators leave at a national. Do what you can do. Promote it. Talk to them. Let the little kids sit in the cars. Do what you can do. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll do my best. You do your best. Take care. Every Tuesday, Tell All with Bobby Fazio.